I paid for her groceries without knowing her son would later destroy my quiet life. Some kindnesses come back wearing heavy boots. Before I tell you this story, I want to ask you something. If you've ever helped someone and later wished you hadn't, if you've ever believed kindness would protect you, then this story is for you. So take a deep breath, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and settle in, because this is not a loud revenge story. It's a quiet one, the kind that waits and stays. My name is Margaret. Most people just call me Maggie. I am not young, but I'm not ready to disappear either. I live alone in a small white house at the edge of town. It has a narrow porch, a creaky screen door, and a yard that stays quiet most days. I have no husband now, no children living with me, just memories and routines. I wake up early. I make my coffee slow. I watch the light crawl across my kitchen floor. I don't rush life anymore. Life rushed me enough already. People say I'm kind. I don't know if that's true. I just try to do what feels right. That day at the grocery store, I thought I was doing something small. I had no idea it would change everything. It was late winter, the kind of cold that bites but doesn't scream. The grocery store was quiet, just a few carts rolling, soft music playing overhead. I was standing in line, counting my items, thinking about soup. That's when I noticed her. She stood one register over, older than me, bent a little forward. Her coat was thin. Her hands shook as she held her wallet. The cashier read the total and the woman froze. She looked down. She counted her bills, then counted again. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Her voice cracked like dry wood. She started removing items from the belt, milk first, then bread, then eggs. Something in my chest tightened. I don't know why I spoke. I usually mind my business. But that day I stepped forward. "I've got it," I said softly. She turned to me. Her eyes were wide, wet. "Oh no," she said. "I couldn't." "It's all right," I told her. "Please let me." The cashier smiled. The woman's shoulders collapsed in relief. She thanked me too many times. Her hands trembled as she held my arm. "My son will be grateful," she said. "He takes care of me." I smiled back. I didn't ask questions. That was my mistake. Outside, the cold felt sharper. She walked slowly beside me. Her name was Eleanor. She said she lived a few streets over. She said her son had moved back home. "He's just going through a hard time," she explained. "Good boy, just lost his way." I nodded. I'd heard that sentence before. She squeezed my hand once more. "You're an angel," she said. I watched her walk away, her grocery bag light, her steps careful. I went home thinking nothing of it. Kindness done. Day finished, or so I thought. Before Eleanor's son entered my life, things were quiet. My days had a rhythm, comforting, predictable. Monday was laundry, Tuesday was soup. Wednesday I watered my plants. I liked my silence. It wasn't lonely. It was peaceful. My husband passed 8 years ago. Cancer took him slow. After that, the house felt too big. But I stayed. I learned how to live with echoes. Neighbors waved. Sometimes we talked over fences. Nothing deep. I didn't need deep anymore. I needed calm. I saw him 2 weeks later. I was sweeping my porch when a truck pulled into Eleanor's driveway. Loud, too loud. The engine roared like it was angry. A man stepped out. Tall, broad shoulders, heavy boots. He slammed the truck door without looking back. I remember thinking he didn't belong in that quiet street. He didn't look at me, didn't wave, just walked inside Eleanor's house. Something in my stomach turned. I told myself not to judge. I always told myself that. After that, things changed little by little. The truck came and went at odd hours, late nights. Early mornings, music blasted sometimes, windows shook. Eleanor stopped waving. She looked tired when I saw her, smaller. One morning she stood at her mailbox too long, just staring. "You all right?" I asked gently. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "He's adjusting," she said. "Just needs time." I nodded, but time has a way of showing truth. One night I woke to shouting, not screaming, but sharp voices, a man's voice, angry, pressed tight. I sat up in bed, heart racing, then silence. I didn't call anyone. I told myself families argue. I pulled the blanket tighter. The next morning, Eleanor's porch light was still on. Despite everything, I kept being kind. I brought Eleanor soup once. She thanked me quietly. She never invited me inside. Her eyes flicked toward the hallway often, like she was listening for footsteps. "He doesn't mean to scare anyone," she said once. "He's just frustrated." I nodded again, but my chest felt heavy. The snow came early that year, soft at first, then thick. My yard turned white overnight. I didn't shovel right away. I liked the way it looked untouched, pure, quiet. Across the street, Eleanor's yard stayed messy. Snow packed down by boots, tire marks everywhere. One morning I saw him standing in my yard. My yard. He was smoking, just standing there, leaving deep footprints in the snow. I opened my door slowly. "Can I help you?" I asked. He turned, looked at me like I was an inconvenience. "Just passing through," he said. He didn't move. I waited. Then he walked away. Slow, deliberate. My clean snow was ruined. I stared at the footprints for a long time. That was when I first felt it. Not anger, something colder. That was the beginning, before the real damage, before the lesson, before I learned that when someone's son leaves, some things should never be touched. The next few weeks felt heavier, even though nothing dramatic happened right away. That's how trouble often comes, not loud, not fast, just steady, like something sitting on your chest while you sleep. I started noticing small things. Things that could be explained away if I wanted to explain them away. My trash can was knocked over one morning. The lid cracked. I told myself the wind did it. My mailbox hung crooked one afternoon. I straightened it and didn't mention it to anyone. At night, that truck idled too long across the street. Headlights on, engine growling. Sometimes for 20 minutes at a time, I would stand behind my curtain and watch the light spill across my living room wall. I never saw him look at my house, but I felt like he knew I was there. Silence can feel watched. One afternoon, I ran into Eleanor again. She was outside, sweeping her steps even though they were already clean. Her movements were nervous, fast, like she wanted to stay busy. "Cold's coming early," I said. She jumped a little when she saw me. "Oh, yes," she replied. Her voice was thin. I looked at her face. She had a bruise near her wrist, fading yellow and purple. I didn't point it out. "Your soup helped," she said quickly. "Thank you for that." "You're welcome," I said. "You ever need anything, just ask." She nodded, then whispered, "You're very kind." That word again, kind. It sounded less like a compliment this time, more like a warning. That night the shouting came back, louder. I sat on the edge of my bed, hands folded, heart steady but alert. I heard his voice, sharp, pressing. I heard something hit a wall, then nothing. The next morning Eleanor didn't come outside at all. I thought about calling someone. Then I thought about what I could prove, nothing. So I did what people like me often do. I stayed quiet. The snow kept falling, layer after layer. I finally shoveled my walkway but left the rest untouched. I liked to clean white space. It felt like order. 2 days later, I came home from the pharmacy and saw tracks again. Boot prints. Not crossing, not passing through, standing. Right in the center of my yard. I stood at the edge of the sidewalk and stared. The prints faced my house. I felt my stomach drop. I didn't go inside right away. I stood there until my fingers went numb. Then I turned and walked across the street. Eleanor answered the door slowly. She looked surprised to see me. "I don't want trouble," I said softly. "But your son keeps coming into my yard." Her face fell. "He doesn't mean anything by it," she said. He doesn't think." "I need him to think," I replied, still calm, still polite. She nodded too fast. "I'll talk to him." I believed her. I wanted to. That night the truck revved loudly. Once, twice. I didn't look out the window. The next morning my snow was untouched. For one day, then came the packages. A delivery box crushed near my steps. Footprints around it. Nothing stolen, just disturbed. A message without words. I felt smaller in my own home. I stopped sitting near windows. I stopped lingering outside. I hated that about myself. One afternoon I heard a knock. Not polite, not gentle, firm. I opened the door just enough to see him. Up close, he smelled like smoke and cold air. His eyes didn't soften when he smiled. "You been talking to my mom?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "She worries too much," he continued. "People should mind their own business." I held onto the doorframe. "I'm just asking you to stay off my property." He looked past me into my house, slowly. "Snow's just snow," he said. "Don't be so sensitive." Then he stepped back. I closed the door quietly, locked it. My hands were shaking. I didn't cry. I made tea. I sat at the table. I realized then that kindness alone would not protect me. And I also realized something else. He wanted reaction, fear, noise. I decided I would give him none of that. But I would remember everything, every footprint, every silence. And I would wait. Because some lessons don't come through shouting. They come through stillness. And snow remembers more than people think. The turning point did not arrive with a scream or a threat. It came quietly, on a morning that looked like every other morning. I woke before sunrise. The house was still, the kind of still that feels held together by breath. I made my coffee and stood by the kitchen window. That's when I saw it. My yard was ruined. Not just footprints this time. Paths, wide, deliberate. Someone had walked back and forth across the snow again and again, dragging something heavy, breaking the clean surface into slush and dirt. It looked angry, messy, intentional. I stood there longer than I should have. My first thought was not fear, it was grief. That yard had been my peace, my quiet proof that I still owned something untouched. Now it felt invaded. I put on my coat and stepped outside. The cold bit my face. My boots sank into the churned snow. I followed the tracks with my eyes. They led straight back to Eleanor's house. I crossed the street slowly. The door was already open. Eleanor stood there, pale. Her eyes filled before I said a word. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. "I can't live like this," I said. She nodded. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "He's leaving," she said. "I told him he has to." I searched her face. "When?" I asked. "Soon," she said. "Very soon." That word stayed with me. Soon. Days passed. The truck stayed gone longer each time. The shouting stopped. Eleanor looked lighter, straighter. Then one evening, the truck came back, loaded, boxes, bags. He moved fast, rough. I watched from behind my curtain. He didn't look at my house. That hurt more than I expected. Then he stepped into my yard one last time, right through the center. I opened my door. "Don't," I said. He stopped, turned slowly. "What?" he asked. "When your son leaves," I said calmly, "don't touch the snow in your yard." He stared at me, confused. I held his gaze. "You've already taken enough," I added. He scoffed, shook his head, then he walked away. The truck pulled out that night, for good. The next morning I didn't fix the yard. I let the snow melt uneven, marked. A reminder. Eleanor came over later. She looked at the ground, then at me. "I understand now," she said. I nodded. Some lessons don't need punishment. They need memory and silence, and the courage to stand still when someone expects you to move. The house felt different after he left. Not louder, not brighter, just lighter. The mornings returned to their old rhythm. Coffee, sunlight, quiet. The street sounded normal again. No engine growling, no doors slamming. For the first time in weeks, I sat near my front window without thinking about it. I didn't watch. I just existed. The snow kept melting, slow, uneven. The yard looked tired but honest. I didn't rush to fix it. Some marks deserved to fade on their own. Eleanor didn't come by for a while. I saw her once at the mailbox. She looked calmer, still fragile but calmer. We nodded at each other, no words. Then one afternoon, she crossed the street. She stood at the edge of my yard, careful not to step into it. "I wanted to thank you," she said. "For the groceries?" I asked gently. She shook her head. "For not yelling," she said. "For not calling anyone. For letting it end quietly." I looked at the ground between us. "I wasn't being generous," I said. "I was being careful," she understood. "I didn't protect my space soon enough," she said. "And you did." We stood there for a moment, snow dripping, water running into the soil, life moving forward. After that, peace settled back in. Not perfect peace, but real, the kind that knows what it survived. I shoveled the yard when spring came, not to erase the memory, just to make room. I planted new grass where the snow had been trampled the most. I watered it slowly. Watching something damaged learn how to grow again taught me something important. Kindness is beautiful. But kindness without boundaries is fragile. Silence can be powerful, but only when it comes from strength. I don't regret paying for those groceries. I regret not knowing that kindness should come with lines. Because some people don't hear words, they notice what you protect, and they remember what you refuse to give away. So if you ever help a stranger, help them fully. But guard your peace, and remember this: when someone who brings chaos finally leaves your life, don't rush to clean every mark they left behind. Let the snow melt, let the ground breathe, and don't touch what taught you who you are. If this story stayed with you, take a moment now, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and tell me in the comments, what is one quiet boundary that changed your life? Thank you for listening.